thanks for the invitation. And just a very brief introduction about myself. My name is Igor Tasic. I am the founder of Ventures. So we are an advisory and launchpad platform for creatives, entrepreneurs, and inventors and educators in the metaverse. And my take, going straight to the point in terms of metaverse, I will talk about a slightly different angle from what has been said today, building on my experience building communities up to last year. I was also the founder and leader of Startup Europe Week, which became the largest regional entrepreneurship movement in the world, in more than 50 countries in more than 350 cities. So my take on communities taught me a lot about what I'm doing now with the metaverse. And I'm not going to talk about specifically the use of digital assets, but more the use of these expanded reality technologies that I think we can all benefit from it. So when I was doing Startup Europe Week, basically what I realized that entrepreneurs come from everywhere, and not necessarily the classical Silicon Valley, Berlin, London perspective that if you are not born and if you don't have access to a specific venture capital, or if you come from an elite university, you are allowed to be an entrepreneur. You thought that if you don't migrate to that city, you could not be an entrepreneur. So we realized that, especially starting in Europe, and then I saw that in other places, the same reality is that entrepreneurs start locally, which is true, has always been true. It's been true for our ancestors, but some people forgot. So when I start to talk to these small villages, these small cities, and people empowered by the fact that they just had local resources to get started, somehow they started to feel that they would. Can you hear me? Sorry, I see a background sound. If you can mute your mic.
Yeah, sure.
I appreciate it. So the perception that they could just get started from whatever they were was super empowerful. It was a super empowerment. It was super powerful at the same time. And if you bring this idea to the metaverse in many ways, and what we're seeing, and especially this huge communities, not only talking about what I've seen today here, but if you think about a larger perspective, and I really like to raise attention to this type of things, which is not just maybe it started with the games, but I think it goes beyond that. Is this capacity to empower entrepreneurs from everywhere just to give their best? And I think the one of the most important things that we're missing now, and maybe if you could just stay with one thing in my brief talk, is there is a huge lack of curation. There is a huge lack of great projects that could actually bring the metaverse to a new level. And to me, the metaverse is nothing else than an evolution of the internet. I remember back in the 90s when the internet was getting started, I was so excited about all the things that could happen. And eventually, I think now in 2022, that dream is becoming a reality because now we have infrastructure, because now we have everything that we dreamed about 20 years ago. Now it's possible. So I think we can go beyond. I think we can go after things that goes way beyond just people just using messages or just using social networks. And I think digital assets are part of it, but I think we can also talk about this human ingenuity, this human capacity. Like yesterday, I had 2 calls with people from Pakistan, another call from people from Nigeria and Brazil. Just yesterday. Today, I talked to people from China, also from Spain. Talent is everywhere, and in the moment that you start giving access to another way of experiencing other people, of experiencing the internet. And I think this type of device, which is just a tool, gives us in terms of expanding the capacity of interaction, expanding our capacity of uh, really having a humanized technology. And I'm not talking about it's not a BS approach to technology. It's seriously something that the pandemic has taught us up to now is that you don't want to live. You don't want to be in a world where just people run on Zoom calls or they just run uh, without this capacity of using technology to be close. So my main point here, and I would love to have a discussion, or even if you want to follow me on LinkedIn, and we can have a conversation there, or Twitter, is there is a huge need. I've been talking to the old fashion or the old style businesses that are looking forward to jump into the metaverse somehow. They will jump in the way they understand. Uh, Sometimes the whole blockchain discussion gets too far away, and the way they understand is more a way of transforming work, transforming education, transforming training. Uh, like myself, I'm a parent of two small kids, 8 and 9 years old. The way that education has been delivered in 2022 is disgraceful. The way people work from 9 to 5 in an office is disgraceful. So I'm not saying that it it is bad things are done in that format. That for sure you get some. We are all results of that model somehow living in 2022. But if you think about what's going to happen in 20, 30, 40, 50 years, I think we are right now building the foundations and the foundation of what is to become. And actually, my motivation to give this talk is less about what we're doing now and more about my kids. Maybe to watch this 20, 30 years from now and know that we are here building the next step of the internet that we all want to see. An internet really more inclusive, an internet that is really more, really uh, uh, that we don't talk about countries anymore. No, that we just see talent, that we just see communities everywhere, that people can bring their best to the table. And if that happens in community A, community B, or community C, it doesn't matter. But this exchange of this free exchange of ideas and talent can happen. Particularly, my take. I'm not saying that's the only take, and I think the metaverse is something that is being built by all of us. My personal take is related to expanded reality. Most of my projects, I'm dealing with bringing the best of people can give to other people, no matter where they come from, no matter where they are, no matter what they can serve. And I think if we go into this direction collectively, uh, build this new type of infrastructure that is not necessarily hardware, which of course is going to be part of it, but also this understanding that we can equalize access to knowledge and being extremely efficient, more than today we can have like if you take education, that people can have access in a Coursera or edX, but 95% of people don't finish their courses. It's because it's not tailored to the way people really want to do, the way really people want to learn. So that's basically what my message is, more kind of a message in a bottle. Uh, I'm really pumped to work with people that really see that we are at the end of the 9 to 5 era, that we are at the end of the way that work and education has been given and provided up to this point. And I think the metaverse could be just the beginning of it. And I'm grateful that we are in this era and that we are building from whatever angle we are taking this construction of the metaverse. I think it's welcome. But if I can make a pledge, I would say that if we can converge more than diverge, and not just I want to have the final definition of what is metaverse. I think that's not going to end nowhere. I think if we can converge, that is going to be a great benefit for all. So that's it, Artem. That's what I had. I don't know if there will be some Q&A, or if you can catch on the other networks, but that was kind of a bottle message in a bottle that I had today.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We are still waiting for the next speaker, and now we have some space for Q&A. Does anyone have a question? Okay, I have one. What do you think about the funding of science and research through the metaverse and gamification of investment?
Well, if you take, it's a very, very good point. I think, to be honest, I think up to this point, nobody understands. And there is a lot of interest. I mean, I'm very close to the university world. There is an interest, but at the same time, there is a lot of prejudice. That's, to be speaking the truth. Uh, uh, People confuse uh, a huge potential, huge innovation that we have now, to a hype, or to fads that have happened in the past. And even if you think about what happened in the beginning of the internet, that a lot of companies crash, a lot of projects will fail, which is natural. It's natural for innovation for that to happen. What I feel is that innovation budget will come, but maybe not necessarily in this current wave that we are in. I think we're the entrepreneurs that are now building this, that are us. I think we have to prove the case, and maybe the way to get closer to them is not to show that we are gonna necessarily disrupt the traditional uh, university driven model, but we're going to complement it with new ways to engage new generations, to engage new generations of students, new generations of researchers. I think they are feeling the pressure. I think because after the pandemic, it became clear that there is a lot of disengagement uh, from every part. And I think this new push uh, can be a major driving factor for people to get interested, and then budget will come.